You are listening to Rent Free MMA Podcast, the only podcast living in your head rent free. Today we are going to be breaking down UFC Norfolk, Virginia. My name is Johnny, and my guest today is Vancouver's finest, Lemon Zest from Sherdog. What up, brother?
Yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm welcome back. How'd you like the last event?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I felt lucky not to totally lose my shirt, but it was all right. It was pretty good.
Sounds like you didn't have a good time. Yep. All right, so this event we're going to be breaking down. The main event here is Joseph Benavidez versus Davison Figueiredo. How you feeling about this card?
Yeah, I like it. Like, there's not a lot of big names, but like it's an all right card. I see some people online talking smack like this is a crappy card, but nah, it's all right. It's like UFC's trying to make more cards more frequently, so this is what we're gonna get, and no, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, as a hardcore fan, I don't really. I mean, I don't know why people don't like the 125ers. I think a lot of their fights are always very exciting to me. They're very skilled. They have good technique. They don't gas. They're athletic. Like it's a very exciting division. Like and a lot of them have been pretty damn exciting. So
Well, they're
um,
so skilled. They're super skilled, man. Like if you
they're
compare
super
it to
skilled.
heavyweights, some of the heavyweights don't even know
Yeah, they suck.
jujitsu because they're
Yeah,
big, though.
yeah. It's yeah. I really don't understand why, but I mean, obviously people don't like the fact that they're small. They're 125-pound men, and people call them man lips or whatever it is. But like, yeah, I really don't get it. But this is a really, really good main event. I really like Joseph Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo. Both of them come to bang. They're very exciting fighters. This matchup is it's a really good matchup. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty damn exciting fight.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple. You know what? There's not a lot of big names on this card. I can see why people don't like it, but who is a big name these days, anyways?
Yeah,
But
for
like
sure.
just looking through it, there's a couple fighters on here that I did some tape research on. Just cause, and I found out there's a couple of pretty exciting fighters on here. Like, well, I mean, everybody knows that. Um, well, not everybody knows, but I think Ankalaev and Kutilaba is gonna be a good fight. That's kind of on paper. We know that's already. Grant Dawson's a pretty exciting grappler. I looked up Kyler Phillips and Gabriel Silva. I think that's gonna be a pretty damn good fight. Yeah, just a list of pretty exciting ones, just not great names. I mean, I don't want to miss out on Sean Brady and Ismail Nardiev. I think that's gonna be a good fight too.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. As a hardcore dude, I'm looking forward to watching pretty much
yeah.
all these fights. Like
Right, right.
there's no John Jones big names, but I'm for sure pumped to like sit down and watch this card.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a hardcore anyway. So what are we talking about this for, anyways?
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyways, so let's kind of get down to this. What we do in this podcast is we break down the fights all the way from the prelims all the way up to the main event. We break down the skill sets of each fighter, then analyze how they match up together, and then we break down the odds from a betting perspective. All right. So, without further ado, let's kind of get down to it. We got Sean Brady versus Ismail Nardiev. This is a welterweight fight. Um, why the fuck is this the first fight of the night? I don't understand. This is a really good fight.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they sometimes like to start the cards off with a bit of a banger just to get it kicked off.
I hope that's the reason why. I just feel like, to me, I feel like the people at the headquarters are just picking names out of a hat and you're like, all right, let's put them first. But maybe that might be the reason they want to kick it off with some good fighters. I don't know, but anyways, um, Nardiev is the favorite, -125. They come back on. Brady is +105. Um, Nardiev is a pretty good prospect. So is Brady. Brady's undefeated. Starting off with Nardiev, I know he's a kickboxer, but he actually has a background in wrestling as well. And he comes out of Henry Hooft's gym. I forget what they call themselves now. I think it's like Hard Knocks or some shit like that. Pretty exciting fighter. He's got really good kicks. Got a pretty decent record. He has a lot of knockouts on there. And then Sean Brady, I've only seen him fight in his debut, and he really impressed me. He has a really good jab. He's got really technical boxing. I read somewhere where he's actually a jiu-jitsu black belt. Pretty well-rounded guy. I think both these guys are pretty damn well-rounded. I have no idea how this fight is going to play out, just because I feel like both of them are really good prospects. And you got Brady's boxing versus Nardiev's kickboxing. So this is I really don't know how this one's going to go. What are your thoughts?
That's exactly the way that I saw it too. Like I was looking at both of them, and I was just watching some of their fights, and I was like, these are just both really good fighters. Like it's going to be competitive. I don't see huge holes in either guy's game. Like Nardiev was recently, like he was kind of manhandled by Chancery Counter, but
yeah, that wasn't a good look.
Yeah, but he's still a really good fighter. And Sean Brady's not like a big name, but he dropped Court McGee in their fight. Like he's
got a mean left hook.
Yeah, his hook is nasty. So it's going to be a fun fight, but it's not something I'd want to stake anything major on just because it's so tight.
Yeah, and from a betting perspective, it's really tough to really like pick a side and be like, oh, I think this guy's going to win, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out which side I'm going to pick, and I just really can't quite put my finger down on it. I know Nardiev, you know, that camp, Henry Hoof's camp, like a lot of times they have a lot of brain farts.
Oh, really?
I feel like they're not good game planners. I mean, other than like Usman, but like everybody from that camp seems to have a lot of hiccups in their fights. And like Nardiev should have not lost to Rencounter like that, but he ended up losing to him.
Yeah, that was a big upset.
Yeah. But Nardiev has had a pretty tough schedule. He debuted against the Tractor, I forget his name, that big wrestler. And then he went and fought Rencounter. Then he fought CR Bahad-Bazada. Like he's they're not giving any of these guys any softballs. And Brady debuted against a really, really tough veteran in Court McGee. So it's trial by fire, I guess. But from a betting perspective, who the fuck knows? Like I think this fight's gonna go with the decision, but the decision line is negative 260. Like fuck that. Like I'm not paying that juice on that. I mean, they could finish each other too, you know.
Yeah. I would slightly leave Nardiev. I slightly lean Nardiev just because I think he's looser on the feet. Like he's just, I think he's a better athlete. I think he's more comfortable striking. But it's like, who knows? Like you say, it could go either way.
Yeah. If you the boxing goes to Brady. I think the kicking goes to Nardiev, and both of their wrestling may cancel each other out. I don't think either of them are fish out of water when it comes down to the grappling portion. So very competitive, exciting fight for myself. I'm just gonna watch it and see who wins out of that one. Maybe live bet it. Who knows? Okay, so next fight. The result for that one, no bet. Next fight, we have Spike Carlisle versus Alon Cruz. Both of these guys making their debuts. Not really much known about them, except Alon Cruz was on the, or Alon Cruz, whatever, was on the Dana White's show. He's going to come in here as a favorite at negative 175, and the comeback on Carlisle is plus 155. Now, I'm sure nobody knows who Carlisle is because he got signed. Is he a late replacement fighter? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's replacing somebody. From what I know, Alon Cruz, I watched a little bit of tape on him. He was from the Dana White show. He's 6 foot, 145 pounds. His striking looks okay. He doesn't really fully use his length as he should. You know, being a tall ass fighter, he can definitely get stuck in the clinch. Sometimes he actually initiates the clinch. However, he kind of got bursted on. He got signed because he hit a flying knee against Stephen Wynn at the last 30 seconds of the round of the fight, really. And in the fight, he was losing, and it looked really good. He impressed Dana White, and Dana White signed him. I mean, you're 6 foot. You're gonna be able to throw a flying knee like that and clack somebody in the jaw. But I watched some tape on him. He looks like a developing fighter. You know, he's 30 years old. I was gonna say if he was younger than that, maybe he's got some room to improve. But definitely a decent fighter. I looked up Spike Carlisle as well. From what I understand, he is a wrestler, judo fighter, and he's got some jiu-jitsu in his game. Striking is not really there, but he can make it dirty. He can dive at the ankles, and if he gets you down, he gets pretty. I mean, he's finished most of his fights too. So, shorter fighter. There's two ways this fight can go. Either Carlisle gets Cruz down to the ground, out wrestles him, and makes it dirty, or Cruz outstrikes him on the feet and lands a flying knee of some sort. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the Spike maybe has like the best nickname in the game right now, dude. Alpha Ginger. It's a
Alpha
great.
Ginger. Oh,
It's hilarious. But yeah, like you said, it's Elon Cruz is like he has some of the best kicks that I've seen in a long time from like a new fighter. Like he throws kicks like jabs. Like he throws those kicks up there with no effort at all, and he's always kicking. So I like that kid, Elon Cruz. I like his game. I like his kicks. He's dangerous, but yeah, like somebody like Spike who's probably just gonna come straight forward hard. Yeah, it's just gonna come down to grappling. I think and also Spike his top game kind of sucks. Like he's not good at like holding people down. Like he doesn't have good top control. So I'm on Cruz for this fight, but it could go either way. Like if Spike can keep him down and control the grappling, I think he could shut down Elon, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So I'm kind of going with Elon Cruz to just kind of either outpoint him with the kicks or to actually finish him at some point.
Yeah, I agree. Spike is 5'7" and Cruz is 6 foot, so there's going to be a 5-inch height difference here. Yeah, I mean it's either Spike gets him down to the ground and out wrestles this guy and makes it dirty, because Elon Cruz does initiate the clinch himself as well, despite being as tall as he is. Like I've seen him in some fights where he goes out and tries to get the guy down as well. So, like I said like earlier, like I don't think this guy uses his reach to like how he should. But yeah, this fight's up in the air. I mean, I'm also picking Cruz to win here. I think that reach is just too much for this Carlo cat, who doesn't really have any hands or not really much stand up. And yeah, like you said, I've seen him gas as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Cruz, but it's a no bet for me. I'm not gonna take that line.
Word.
Okay. I'm a little confused. There's some odds on here in best fight odds, and I don't see Pena on this card. Luis Pena. Is he on this card?
Oh, really? Weird. Yeah.
Oh,
Pena's
you know what? He is. Yeah, there's no odds for it yet, though. Okay, so there is no odds for it yet, but Luis Pena versus Steve Garcia, who must have taken this fight on a day's notice, because yesterday I didn't see him on here. Do you know anything about Steve Garcia?
I thought he was fighting Alex Munoz. I think I was on at UFC.com, and I think he was fighting Alex Munoz.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I just read some news. Munoz is out, and they replaced him with a guy named Steve Garcia.
Oh, okay.
Jackson Wink. So I assume I'm just gonna assume you don't know who he is then.
No, I don't know who Steve Garcia is.
Yikes! What kind of a breakdown is this? Well, from what I know from Luis Pena, we know he's from AKA Violent Bob Ross. He's a southpaw, tall as shit. He's 6'3" at 155 pounds. He's missed weight multiple times at 145. Doesn't really throw much power, but he throws a lot of volume. He's got an active submission game. Throws a lot of volume, so that's pretty much his game. So there's no odds for that. So I guess we're not gonna break that down. We're going to move on to the next
Luis Pena, the fighter. I like him. Like I'll have to look into the Steve Garcia guy. Mean Machine is his nickname, but I like Luis Pena as a fighter. Super tall. Like he's just dangerous. Super tough. He comes to fight. I like his sub game. Like I like him. So depending on this kid, like how good this kid coming in on short notice is. Never had a UFC fight. It's always a question mark. New guys in the UFC, but a little bit of wiki capping. I'm liking Luis Pena in this matchup with some kid coming in short notice.
Yeah, well, let's see what the odds are going to be, but
yeah.
All right, moving on. We have Jordan Griffin versus T.J. Brown. T.J. Brown is making his debut, and Jordan Griffin is -40, and the comeback on Brown is +120. Now, when I first saw this fight, I kind of just wiki capped it. I didn't know who the fuck T.J. Brown was. Look at his record. This guy has a really ugly record. Well, both of them don't have that pretty of a record. But this T.J. Brown guy, he's coming off of 4 wins in a row. I looked him up on YouTube. He looks pretty athletic. He looks kind of dangerous. He's a pretty offensive fighter. But looking through his record, his most recent loss, which is back in 2018, 4 fights ago. He lost to a guy named Cody Carrillo. That guy is 13-18, and
It's
he
fun,
lost by
man.
knockout. And then before that, he got finished by a guy named Trey Ogden. Better record, 12-4. He went to a split decision with Bobby Moffitt. That's actually pretty good. And then before that, he got submitted by a guy. Okay, he got submitted by a guy named Joey Miola, which is he's 10-4. He's been TKO'd by a guy named Bobby Taylor, who is 4-10. And then his first loss, he didn't answer the bell to a guy who was 5-11. So this guy is very inconsistent. He's been
Yeah,
finished. He's 14-6. He's been finished 5 times, and out of maybe like 3 or 4 of those people that he's lost to, have records like 13-14 or 5-11. So, like, I don't know how anybody could really kind of put money down on this guy and like trust that he'll come through. I mean, to be fair, I mean, just watching a couple of those highlights that he did fight in, he looks pretty decent. I mean, he's pretty dangerous. Like I said, he has like 2 head kicks in there. He's very aggressive. That's probably why he's been finished. So I mean, so many damn times because he's so damn aggressive. And then I
yeah,
read somewhere, I didn't get to watch the fight live, but I read on like play by play. He fought on the Dana White's Contender Series against a guy named Dylan Lockhart, and then in the first like 10 seconds he gets dropped.
yeah. He does.
So
Yeah,
did you watch that fight?
yeah.
You did? Okay, yeah. So you maybe have a better idea there than I do, but let me just kind of break down Jordan Griffin, and then you kind of let me know what you feel. So Jordan Griffin
All
is
right.
also from the Dana White Contender Series. Yeah, he is. He is 0-2 in the UFC, but against really good competition, Dan Ige and Chas Skelly. He looks like also a very aggressive guy. Um, just 2 aggressive guys going at each other. I feel like this could end up being a finish. But he's a southpaw. Throws heavy hands. He throws a lot of head kicks. He's gunning for submissions as well. He's super duper aggressive. What are your thoughts on these two matching up together?
Yeah, and we talked about this before, but at lower level MMA, I think heart is such a big deal, right? Like I think skill wise, it's hard to cap them because they're not upper level fighters, right? They're kind of like B level guys. They
Mm-hmm.
just made it into UFC. I think a lot of it just comes down to like who wants it more. They're both tough dudes, so it's a really hard fight to cap and a hard fight to bet. But like just kind of looking at what they've done, Griffin's been in there with Ige, he's been in there with Chaz Skelly, so he's kind of been through the fire already, and you know he knows what it's about. Like he knows he's been in some tough situations grappling. He's been under some guys. He doesn't give up. He's a tough guy. Not that I think Brown will give up, but I just think Griffin's shown a bit more experience in the UFC. Even though he has 2 L's in the UFC, it's like he didn't just get like embarrassed in there. So I would lean
Yeah,
towards Griffin, but like Brown can definitely win. Like they're both tough dudes that are grinders. So
yeah.
that's kind of how I see it.
So I think I read somewhere T.J. Brown he trains with Bryce Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
And Bryce Mitchell's pretty hot right now, so maybe I don't know, maybe he's just hitting his stride or something. But yeah, I would not trust T.J. Brown with my money. Like this guy's getting knocked out by 13 and 14 guys. That's only like 2 years ago, so that's a no-no for me.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
with Jordan Griffin, like again, like yeah, he's gotten 2 losses in the UFC. His back is against the wall. This is his moment. Like he's gonna come out swinging. Like this guy's not gonna go down. Like he's gonna fight till unless you have to kill the guy. And he did take a
Yeah.
round off of Dan Ige, and then I think he did take a round off of Chas Kelly as well. He gave them both pretty tough fights. So it's hard to judge somebody off of a loss and say he had a good performance. But like I'm gonna go with Jordan Griffin here. That's my pick.
Yeah. For sure. I agree.
Yeah, he's only negative 140 as well. So if that line explodes up to like 175, is where I'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna take Jordan Griffin. This is a skip for me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. However, I do think this fight. I mean, just them being aggressive, I feel like this fight could probably end. So maybe fight inside the distance might be something to look at. So all right, moving on. So next fight we have a heavyweight fight: Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak. Spivak is the slight favorite, is negative 120, and they come back on Marcin Tybura. is plus 100. So Spivak is a newcomer. Well, he's not a newcomer, but he's kind of a new guy on the scene. Pretty young cat. He's a 25-year-old heavyweight. I kind of like this guy. He had his debut against Walt Harris, which is a fucking tough debut. And before that, he was undefeated, so his record is 10-1. And he got knocked out in the first 50 seconds. That was not a great showing, but in his second fight, sophomore fight, he fought against Tai Tuivasa, who is also an experienced guy, so to speak, but not that great himself. He was tossing Tai Tuivasa around. From what I understand, Sergey is a pretty decent wrestler. He's got some pretty nice trips. He's a good wrestler, good judo fighter. He's got some pretty decent hands himself too. I was watching some videos of him fighting Tony Lopez and I forget a couple other like decent journeymen, and he's got some pretty decent hands. He's got a good overhand right. He in the clinch he likes to throw knees. He's throwing elbows in there. Like he's a pretty dangerous fighter, and mixed in with his takedown ability, I think, and he's got 100% finish rate as well. So, for Tybura on the other hand, I think this guy's peaked. And I know heavyweights tend to peak a little late, but this guy's been getting knocked out lately. In his last three fights, in his last three losses, he's been knocked out by Gusto Sakai, Shamil Abdurakhimov, and Doug Lewis. And I feel like he is kind of on his way out. He's been getting touched to the chin one too many times, and he's starting to kind of show his wear and tear in the ring, in the cage now. And even in his last win against Stefan Struve, he was getting busted up as well. I think he got or was that Stefan? Well, I know he was getting busted up on the feet, and actually ended up having to take Stefan Struve down and kind of hold him down, and that was his approach to the fight. And even before that, within his last fight against Arlovsky, you remember that fight against Arlovsky?
No, I don't.
So Tybura and Arlovsky was kind of piecing him up on the feet. And
okay.
Yeah, he ended up having to take Arlovsky down in order to win the fight. Yeah, so I think this guy is, I think he's kind of peaked as a fighter, and this is as good as he's going to get. And if grappling is his game, I think he's going to run into a better, younger grappler in Spivak.
Yeah. I don't like Tybura to grapple in this fight. Like, what I saw of Spivak is like he likes that Philly shell kind of defense. Like he just has that high guard and covers up, which might work, but it doesn't work well in the heavyweight division. And that's what Walt Harris did to it. Walt Harris just punched through it. Like he never got really clipped by Walt. He just was up against the fence and put that shell up, and like Walt Harris just pounded away on it and just KO'd him through his guard. So I don't like Spivak's stand-up that much. Like, I'm not saying he can't win this fight, but for a heavyweight, I feel like he's not very dangerous on the feet. His game is like he gets you down and then he ground and pounds you. That's what he did to Tuivasa too, right? Like he'll catch a kick, put you on your back, and then you're in his world once he gets on top of you. But I don't think Tybura is going to get taken down by him, because Tybura has like pretty good takedown defense, pretty good balance. I think if Tybura can keep it standing, it can strike with him, I think he can win. Like, maybe not in the distance, but like I think he can win a decision. Like, for a heavyweight, I just don't think Spivak's very dangerous. So standing up.
I mean, he's got 10 finishes though, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's just my take.
I see. Well,
it's sketchy because Spivak's so much younger, and like you said, like Tybura's lost 4 of his 5 fights, so he's not exactly on a hot streak. But I feel like overall, Tybura has more experience and he's a better fighter. Certainly more dangerous.
Definitely. This guy's this guy's resume is way better than Sergey's resume. Obviously, he's fought a whole list of people in the UFC's heavyweights, and he's got he's got the experience age. But I don't know. I've never really liked Tybura. Like, just kind of a skill breakdown, like the way he punches. I don't really like it. I remember there was a time where he fought Luis Henrique, and then Henrique comes after him, but just kind of bull rushes him, and he throws like a fucking. He throws a fucking. What kind of punch was this? It wasn't a right hand. It was like a judo chop. He throws a judo chop.
Jeez,
No,
are
this
you serious?
motherfucker. No, this motherfucker threw a judo chop, bro. Like as soon as I saw that, like, oh, this guy is not a good fighter. Yeah, like it was just it
Funny.
looked like just a reaction. It was just like Luis Henrique just came after him like a bull, and it was
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
natural. The natural reaction for him was to throw a judo chop.
What's the judo chop? Judo chop.
Yeah, no, I'm
That's
serious.
funny, bro.
Yeah, so ever since then, I was like, okay, this guy is. I don't see him doing much in the division. So I think his only game, his path to victory here is just like, I mean, he's got okay striking. He landed like a left head kick knockout against Victor Pesta. So yeah, but I just think this guy's chin is done too. He's been getting beat up a lot, and like I was kind of looking up Steve Spivak's background and just kind of seeing where the fuck this guy came from. But he's training with a lot of good guys.
Oh,
I looked
really?
at his Instagram. Yeah, he was training with the Nemkov brothers, like Vadim and Victor Nemkov. I don't know if you know those
Yeah,
guys.
super
There are some,
good. Yeah.
yeah, some those Bellator dudes who are pretty damn good. They're like really, really well-rounded strikers and wrestlers. He's training with this. I mean, he's training some jiu-jitsu as well. Like, just kind of doing a little bit of stalking on his page. He also was training. He was wrestling with what's his name? He won in Bellator recently, but he was a very shit. Let me look this guy up real quick. He fought against. Well, no, he's training with some pretty good wrestlers. Let's just say that. I don't know how. I don't remember these guys' names, but I'm trying to fucking get to this guy's name here.
Yeah, I like
But
his take. Spivak has some slick takedowns off of kicks.
yeah,
Like if you kick him, this might happen because Tabura likes to kick a lot. He'll
he does.
grab those kicks and put you on your back, which is not like that. A lot of people just shoot single or doubles. He's got some very slick takedowns that are not conventional.
Yeah, and I don't like the way that Tybura throws like that rear. He throws like a rear kick from like I don't know. I just feel like this guy's chin is for the taking. So I'm gonna take Spivak.
All right, man, you're kind of talking me out of Tybura. I gotta stick to my guns on Tybura here, man.
Yeah, that's cool. You gotta have some disagreement sometimes. So yeah, I think -120 is a good price for me. I'm gonna lay a unit on Spivak. But overall, this card is not really that great for betting, just odds wise and just some of the fighters wise. But just for action, I'm gonna put a unit on Spivak here. All right, next fight we have Brendan Allen versus Tom Breeze. Tom Breeze has been in the UFC for it seems like forever, and this guy never fucking fights. So Tom Breeze is the favorite, -135. The comeback on Brendan Allen is +115. Tom Breeze, where the fuck has Tom Breeze been? I don't know.
I was just gonna say because his last fight was in May of 2018 against Dan Kelly, who of
Dan
course
fucking Kelly.
who we all love, but he destroyed Dan Kelly in the first round. I'm interested. Where's Tom Breeze been? Like, was he injured or what's his deal? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I tried to look up some social media, and he doesn't really have an Instagram or anything, so I have no idea where or what he's doing. Last I remembered, he was training at TriStar, so I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah,
Yeah. But just to kind of break down these guys, Tom Breeze, I know that I think he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Do you know?
yeah. He competed in Polaris and stuff. So I don't know if he's a black belt, but he's got really good jiu-jitsu and grappling.
Yeah, I remember he's got some good leg lock sweeps and things like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's a black belt in
he was
jiu-jitsu.
training Gary Tonin and those guys. He's got that leg lock game, and he goes
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
that's right. That's right. I remember now. Yeah. So he is a TriStar fighter, southpaw. Your typical TriStar. They're focused on accuracy and being efficient. Pretty good left hand. Uh, he's your typical TriStar striker. Mixes it in with some jiu-jitsu. He's got some finishes on the ground as well. It looks like he's been signed to the UFC since 2015, and he's only had 5 fights. So
That's
he fights
crazy.
about once a year. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, he's only 28 years old, so he got signed at 23. Brendan Allen, on the other hand, uh, the last time Tom Breeze fought against Dan Kelly, Brendan Allen fought 5 times.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Allen is I want to think I want to say he's a black belt as well. Is he a black belt? Do you know?
I don't know if he's a black belt, but his game is definitely like jujitsu and grappling. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, yeah. He's a definitely a very aggressive, dangerous fighter. He's fought some pretty good competition himself. I mean, in his third fight, he fought against Trevin Giles. He's got he fought Eric Anders out in the LFA as well. He's fought another guy named Anthony Hernandez, who's also in the UFC. So, he's fought some UFC level competition, and he's coming in here with a whole lot more momentum, that's for sure, than Tom Breese. Um, now I'm starting to remember now. Tom Breese, the reason why he doesn't fight a lot is because he keeps pulling out. I'm not sure if it's due to injuries, but I know that he also has anxiety problems. I don't know where that stems from. I don't know if it's from fighting or is it from I don't know what it is. I mean, he's a good fighter, but I don't really know why he has like these mental issues when before he enters the ring. But I remember there was one time where he was supposed to fight against a guy who wasn't even good. He was supposed to fight against that black guy, the dude from Africa. I forget his name. No, he's not from Africa. He's from New York. African booty scratcher. Bang Bus. Do you remember Bang Bus?
No, dude.
Bang Bus. Come
Just
on now.
description, bro.
Yeah, the African booty scratcher. I don't know how to say his name, but it was Bang Bus, and
All right.
he's not a good fighter. And then like one day before the fight, like he weighed in, but the next day he said he had anxiety attacks and then he had to pull out. And
Yeah.
like 100%, he would have destroyed that dude. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Tom Breeze.
Yeah, he's definitely got some mental issues going on.
Yeah. Otherwise, like I mean, mental issues aside, I would say he's a better. I would want to pick him to beat Brandon Allen here because Brandon Allen, he's a very aggressive fighter. He's coming off a pretty good win over Kevin Holland, where he was getting beat up at first and then came back and got the rear naked choke. Super aggressive fighter. This guy Allen is very experienced. He's been fighting for a very like a long time. He's been fighting since he was really young. And he's pretty well rounded. He can kind of do it all. He's got some aggressive striking, some aggressive submission grappling. He can definitely come in there and beat Tom Breese if Breese does comes in here and brings those mental
Yeah.
issues in there with him. So it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
say whether it's a strong bet or not.
For me, my favorite bet on the card is Tom Breeze. I'm betting
Really?
that from a skill point of view. Yeah, because he was like almost going to be a pro boxer at one point. Like his boxing is like way
It's
better than
good.
Brendan Allen.
Definitely, yeah, I
So
agree.
his boxing is good. His jiu-jitsu was good. His grappling is good. I'm just matching up skills, right? So let's say the BJJ cancels out. Tom Breeze might even be a bit better. And the
I
boxing
believe so too.
is on a different level with boxing. So like skill wise, Tom Breeze should kill him. The question mark is the mental stuff that we talked about. If Tom Breeze goes in there and he's like a deer in headlights, because Brendan Allen is going to like when the bell goes, he's going to go straight forward. That's what
Yeah,
he
he's coming
does.
for it. Yeah.
He's going to go straight forward. So Tom Breeze needs to be like on his game. But like skill wise, I love Tom Breeze to win this fight. Like I think we're getting a great price on Breeze, and I'm definitely betting him here and just hoping because that's the thing. He has mental issues, but he doesn't really choke in there. Like if you look at his record, yeah, he went to a split decision with Strickland, but like other than that, every time he fights, like he shows up. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So he does have mental issues, but he doesn't just like fucking drop the ball in the cage. Like he shows up when he fights. So I'm backing Breeze here, and just assuming that his mental issues are priced in because we're getting a great price on him here.
You know what? You might be onto something here. Initially when I saw the line drop, I was like, oh, Tom Breeze all the way. Like I'm going to bet pretty big on this. And then thinking about the fight more. I don't know if I'm getting cold feet or something like that, but I'm like, hey, why hasn't he fought again? I'm trying to remember why and stuff. And then I'm trying to spark my memory of what the heck has been going on with this guy. But yeah, I mean, I'm in total agreement. Like, I definitely want to bet Tom Breeze back. I will be very careful with my bet just in case he does, have some issues. I don't know how that will translate into the fight as well. But I mean, for the most part, he hasn't had any bad performances because of those issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not
And how
like
do
who's that black dude that had the spinning back kick KO? I want not Ryan Hall, but Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall, dude. He's a
Yeah,
guy
he's
that
got
has
mental issues. Yeah. Yeah.
belts in the cage. He'll just stand there and it's a staring contest.
Right. And actually he's been turning it on lately as well. So yeah.
Yeah, he's been around.
How the fuck did Tom Breeze make 170? What the fuck? Yeah, this fight's being taking place at 185, but how this guy made 170? That's probably why. You know, that might be one of the reasons why he actually also pulled out some fights as well. He probably had some shitty weight cuts as well, cutting that amount of weight. Like, look how big this motherfucker is. He's got no body fat on
Yeah,
him.
Brendan Allen's big too. He's a big dude.
Yeah, they're both pretty damn big. Yeah. But yeah, so you're gonna go with Tom Breeze. I'm gonna co-sign as well. I'm going to go with Tom Breeze as well.
Right on.
Yep. That's right. All right, next fight we have Gabriel Silva versus Kyler Phillips. This is a 125, I want to say. Is this a flyweight fight? No, 135. Okay, these are one bantamweights. Kyler Phillips is Gabriel Silva is negative 135 to come back on. Phillips is plus 110. Didn't really know too much about either guy when this fight was announced, but I did a little bit digging. Gabriel Silva is on the second fight. He debuted against freaking Ray Borg. That's a really tough debut. I actually do remember a little bit of that fight. I know he looked pretty good early. Gabriel Silva is actually Eric Silva's brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm
That's
gonna
cool.
I'm gonna assume that he's Eric Silva's older brother because we all know Eric Silva is the youngest prospect in the game. But um, he looks like a pretty decent fighter. He's got pretty good hands. He's got some good wrestling apparently too. Because for him to be able to hang with Ray Borg like that in his debut, he's got to have some pretty decent wrestling. Pretty well rounded. Uh, like I said, he's got some pretty good hands. He throws throws with some good power. He's mainly a boxer though, however. And with Phillips, I looked him up as well, and this guy's actually pretty good. I kind of like Phillips. He trains at the MMA lab. He fights kind of like what's his face, Sugar
Shot.
Shane. No, I'm forgetting his name. The dude with the afro, Sugar Shane. No, oh my god, people are listening like it's like, you
I don't
know.
know, man.
Oh my fucking god, how am I? They both train at the MMA lab, and Phillips he's got more kicking to his game. He throws a lot of spins. This guy's super athletic. Like this guy's out here throwing fucking head kicks, spin kicks. He likes to throw that right head kick over the shoulder, like how Wonder Boy does, and hits you right in
Okay.
the head. He's got some pretty good striking. He throws with a lot of power. Um, the only issue with his style is just like he kind of reminds he gasses out throwing all these like really hard shots, just like how Nando Veneta does. Like Veneta's a really gifted offensive fighter, but the issue with him is that he doesn't like throwing all those crazy moves. He gasses him out,
Yeah.
and so it ends up being like a double-edged sword. So if he doesn't put his opponent away, he ends up gassing, and his opponent comes over and takes over the fight. And that's what I saw in one of Kyler Phillips' fights, where he was just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this dude. And then the dude takes it, and then the other dude ends up winning a split decision because he starts gassing out trying to finish this fight. And so, I mean, this fight could end up being a split decision, in my opinion. Um, I think I also read somewhere that Kyler Phillips also has a brown belt, or he might even have a black belt. I'm not sure. I'm gonna assume Gabriel Silva also has like black belt level grappling as well, so that might end up being a wash. But I'm gonna go with Kyler Phillips here at plus 110. I think he's got more variance in his striking, and I like the way he's very athletic with his striking, and he's got a little more the kicking game. I think he's yeah. I'm gonna give him the edge here. Hard to say with a really strong opinion on who's going to win this one. I think it might end up being a split decision, but I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. And I actually wouldn't even be surprised if somebody gets finished here as well, just because of how aggressive both guys are. So, yeah, did you do any research on either guy?
No, I didn't look into this because I kind of looked at the guys and I was just thinking this is a toss up. Like it's a tough one to cap because it's just so close. So I'll be interested. I'd be really interested to see how they do and to just see how they perform.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of times with this card. There's a lot of people are making either their debut or they're having their sophomore fight, and there's not really much to go by. So Sean O'Malley, Jesus fucking Christ, Sean O'Malley.
Oh, Sugar Sean,
So
I got you. Okay.
yeah, yeah, you're supposed to help me out with this here. But Kyler Phillips, he fights kind of like Sugar Shane O'Malley. They're throwing a lot of risky stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. I kind of dig it. I can see both of these guys hanging in the division and getting some good fights here. So my pick is Kyler Phillips.
All right.
All right, moving on. So next fight we have, hopefully I didn't skip anything here. Grant Dawson versus Derek Miner. This guy's name is terrible, the way he spelled it. But yeah, Derek Miner. Grant Dawson is negative 420 to come back on. Miner is plus 335. Miner is a regional fighter. He is kill or be killed. You can tell by his record. He's been finished like 9 out of 10 times, but he also finishes fights as well. 22 finishes out of 23 wins. Grant Dawson is a prospect. If you haven't heard of him, he's a pretty damn good grappler. He's not one of your typical wrestlers where he'll take you down and lay on top of you. This guy he changed his wrestling first of all, and second of all, he also changed his submissions. I remember seeing a fight where he drops down for a guillotine on the dude. The guy defends it, and then he lets go of the guillotine, throws up a triangle transition. So this guy's training. This guy's either chaining his submission attempts. Grant Dawson, his striking could use some work. However, it's not that great. But a lot of the striking that he does is just a smokescreen for him to be able to get the clinch or get the the single leg. This guy's got a great single legs, like I mentioned. And I do expect Grant Dawson to finish this guy in the first round and put a stamp on the fight pretty damn early. I think I don't see this fight going past 3 minutes. So,
Yeah.
but the odds are kind of ugly. A negative 420. Maybe you might want to take like under 1.5 line, whatever that gets put out. I'm guessing it might be like negative 130 or something, somewhere around there. But I think it's probably going to hit just because Derek Miner is going to oblige in a firefight. He's gonna go for glory and try to go for the finish early, and he's going to probably grab a guillotine or something like that, and then Grant Dawson pulls his head out from the guillotine and then ends up working this dude over and slapping on a submission of his own, rear naked choke, armbar. It could be a very multiple variations. Just looking at Miner's like record too, like I think he's got armbarred and triangled maybe 6 or 7 times. So Grant Dawson's good at that. So yeah, did you look this up?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like the price on Dawson is just so cost prohibitive. I'm not playing the money line, of course. So I think to find value to just play the under or play Dawson in the distance or Dawson round 1 is probably the way to play it. Just so, yeah, you're not paying minus 400. That's crazy. So yeah, exactly. Something in the distance or under is probably the way to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate under 1.5 unless I know one guy is completely going to destroy another dude, and I think this might be one of those fights. So I do expect this fight to go under, and I know that Derek Miner he's coming in to kill as well. So yeah, I expect a real quick finish.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, so next fight we have a women's fight. I think it's 145 pounds. We have Megan, the Amazonian woman Anderson versus newcomer Norm Dumont. I wonder if she's related to Duke Dumont, but probably not. I don't know. Do you know who Duke Dumont is?
Yeah,
he's a DJ.
Yeah, I got you.
Anyways, Megan Anderson is a bum. She is 145 pounds of useless, pointless. Like I don't understand. Like why she's always such a huge favorite over every single girl. Well, I do understand. She's a fucking giant.
Yeah, she's pretty big. She's got
long been legs, a favorite in every single fight, and she's looked bad at a handful of them. Almost all of them, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know who this Norma girl is, but if she's like any, like, I'm in no world am I gonna pick Megan Anderson as a favorite. So
Yeah.
I'm sure people at home are yelling at me like, "You don't fucking know anything" or something like that. And I'm like, but there's no way you can trust her as a favorite, whether she wins or not. Yeah, this one's I'm gonna sit this one out. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a great stylistic matchup for Norma, right? Because she's Brazilian with that strong Brazilian jiu-jitsu background. Megan Anderson has already shown she's pretty bad. Like when she gets in grappling situations, and especially if she gets put on her back, she's kind of a fish out of water, right? Like Felicia Spencer recently, just on the ground, round one, or sub done, right?
Yep.
So she's Megan Anderson. She has a lot of confidence. Like she thinks she's Floyd Mayweather or something in there. So she's got like tons of confidence, but she's actually not very good.
And
And
very not
like, the
athletic.
question,
She's not
I don't
athletic at
know
all.
this. No, like she's just not very good. But like I like her confidence. That's cool. But then like Norma, you just don't know with these people that come out of like not being in the UFC and then they come up. You just don't know how like you're just watching some amateur footage of them. You don't really know, like, okay, like how bad is Norma? Like I don't know. Like I think if she can get her hands on Megan and make it a grappling fight, she's gonna have a massive advantage. But if she's standing there getting kicked and punched, she's gonna get destroyed. So it's just
Yeah.
comes down to whether she can make it a BJJ fight, and if she can, I'm pretty sure she's gonna destroy Megan Anderson. So yeah, I would for sure be if I would gonna bet it, I would for sure be betting Norma.
Yeah, dog or pass
I'd
for me
find like a
about.
better price. If it was like 2 plus 250 on Norma, I'd smash it. But it's still like kind of I don't know. I'd like a bit better price.
Yeah, any Megan Anderson fight for me is going to be dog or pass. And
Nice.
but she's 6 foot, and the other girl Norma is 5'7", so there's another huge height disparity here.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
can be good though. If you're trying to go for the takedown, it can be good to be
Felicia
stocky.
Spencer
Right?
was about 5'7", took her down and got the rear naked choke right away.
Yeah, exactly.
And this girl has 2 rear naked chokes on her record, so that might
Or
be something.
another way to play it is just Norma sub, right? Like instead of playing money line, just play her sub because I think either she gets the sub or she loses the fight. There's no way she's gonna box for 3 rounds and win. So I might just play her sub.
I wouldn't say there's no way. When Megan Anderson is involved, or women fighting in general, I wouldn't say there's no way.
Yeah. No, but
Women
I
fighting, y'all. Don't fucking go big on women fighting. Like, how many times I have to say this? Like, it's
yeah,
fun to
true.
bet on. It's fun to bet the underdog. It's fun to win on that stuff, but never go big on it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Preach.
Yeah. Anyways, any last words on this bum fight?
No, that's it.
All right, don't give me any more time. All right. So now we're coming on to a light heavyweight banger of a fight. This one should actually be the co-main event. Like, why the fuck is this not?
Yeah,
I don't fucking understand. I don't understand. Yeah. All right, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But we have Magomed Ankalaev versus Ion Kutalaba. Ankalaev is negative 220, and the comeback on Kutalaba is plus 180. This is a very good fight because this is going to be a pretty exciting fight because Kutalaba is never in a boring fight. This guy's coming to fight, whether you hit him or he hits you. And Ankalaev is a very good fighter himself. He's a really good prospect. And I think these odds are a little too wide. However, like I'm gonna pick Magomed Ankalaev to win. But if I were to bet this, I would probably bet on Kutalaba at this price.
Oh man,
at plus 180.
I agree. I thought I was gonna make a controversial pick here. I'm on Kutalaba here too.
Yeah. This I think this should be a little closer. I think like realistically the odds should maybe be negative 160 for Magomed. And maybe plus 130, 140 for Kutalaba, but totally. It's a little too wide.
Well, and I've seen some spots where Ankalaev, like he's good. He kind of stands in the pocket and he kind of spars and moves around, but he gets clipped. He's somewhat hittable with the way he boxes and moves, and it's like Kutalaba is like he's gonna close the show. Like if he has like a chance, like if he just comes out and swings, like that's what he does. So I kind of feel like. Yeah, like I kind of feel like if Ankalaev isn't savvy to it, I feel like Cutelaba could just come out and just knock him down, and it's over. So I kind of feel like he could. This is somebody who Cutelaba that his strategy could work on.
Yeah,
Because we've seen guys take advantage of him in the past, and once he broke onto the scene, everybody was like, "Holy crap, this guy's amazing!" And then people got savvy to it, right? Like Glover Teixeira, like worked him over, knew what was going on. Even Glover Teixeira got wobbled in that fight hard. So, but yeah, I just think his plan of being super aggressive could work. Not for sure, of course, but as a dog, I like it.
super aggressive is an understatement for Cutelaba. But yeah, I mean, he's fought some pretty good fighters too. I mean, he has three losses to some three really good fighters: Cannonier, Serkinov, and Teixeira. His four wins over Khalil, Rountree, Antugulov, Henrique de Silva, and Jonathan Wilson don't look too great in hindsight. Um, because maybe four of those guys are probably on the verge of getting cut or already have been cut. Magomed Ankalaev is a sambo wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. Southpaw, really, he's got some. He had a really nice front kick knockout against that other African booty scratcher. Um, yeah, I don't have to say his name, but yeah, I mean, Ankalaev looks like a pretty good fighter, and he looks like I mean, he's gotten hit as well. I mean, I remember clips in Abreu, him landing some pretty hard shots on him, standing, and he's had some brain farts as well against Paul Craig in his debut. Dominated the whole entire fight, and then ended up tapping to a triangle choke at 1 second left.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, that was terrible. Like, had he just survived for 1 second, and he would have he'd be undefeated. So
Yeah.
you do not want to make brain farts against Cutelaba, because if you get caught staring at him or just like not focusing for 1 second, Cutelaba he's coming in for the kill. So
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like a live bet spot too here. Like if Ankalaev can survive the first round, even if he gets wobbled or gets hurt, but if he survives the first round, I kind of like him in a live bet spot after the first round, because I think after the first round, after Cutelaba like pulls his load, I think there's a good chance then Ankalaev could really take over the fight.
True. That's also true too, because we've seen Cutelaba gassed out of a bet. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate, like I've seen Cutelaba throw like with as much power as he does in the first round into the third round. Like when he fought against Jonathan Wilson, this guy was throwing fucking like 120% power shots, and he was still throwing 120% power shots in the third round against Jonathan Wilson. But he also did gas against in a fight against what's his face, Jared Cannonier. So, and then you've seen Ankalaev lose in the third round as well. So just to play devil's advocate, but I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, my bet is, I mean, I'm gonna probably sprinkle a little bit on Cutelaba when that fight comes up, but I'll wait to see on that one.
Word.
All right. Next fight, we have the co-main event. We have Felicia Spencer versus some bum, Zara Fern. I don't know who the fuck this is, but I do know this Zara girl has a loss to another bum, which Megan Anderson on the undercard. Wow, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like the placement on this fight card, but whatever. I guess Spencer. I remember her. I kind of like her though. I really like her a lot, actually. She has a lot of heart. She got a pretty good chin. She went head to head with Cyborg and didn't back down. She went the full. I don't know if it was 3 rounds or 5 rounds.
She fought Cyborg. That's her last fight. That's crazy.
Yes, she fought Cyborg and went toe to toe with Cyborg.
Yeah, respect for sure.
3-round fight. Yeah, like you gotta give it to this girl. She survived 3 rounds, and not only she survived 3 rounds, she cut Cyborg as well, and she was going for the win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's got a heart.
I like her a lot. I mean, there's a reason why she's negative 800 here, and to come back on the other bum. I'm not even gonna say her name anymore. I don't see how this other girl is gonna last in the UFC. I don't even think this girl could even spell BJJ.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. She's really bad. Like her takedown defense and grappling in jiu-jitsu is bad.
Yeah, if you're getting triangle choked by Megan Anderson, like What more can you
But
say? Like, I
yeah,
saw the fight, and she was getting up like, all right, I'm just gonna get up now, and like, yes, I'm up, and then she goes and gets locked up in a triangle choke. Like, this girl doesn't know what jiu-jitsu is, and Felicia Spencer has, I think, a black belt under her belt, so I'm gonna go with Felicia Spencer by rear naked choke, probably in the first round, maybe in the second
it
round. I
sounds
don't know.
it sounds crazy, but like the price of eight minus 800 on Spencer is actually like appropriate. Like that's a good price, I think. I'm not going to bet it, but I think it makes sense. It's justified.
Right, right. But if you're out there betting a negative 800, like you're a dumbass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of like the under though. Like I like the under for
Yeah,
Spencer.
I do think the under. Yeah,
Spencer's going to finish her. Like I don't think they're going 3 rounds because Spencer's just she's so feisty. You know, like she's going to get
yeah,
in there. I kind of like
she's
Spencer in the
definitely.
distance or Spencer sub.
I agree. The price is kind of ugly as well. It's negative 200 or something. But I actually put some money on her to finish at an earlier line at plus and a negative 175. I parlayed that one with
Mm-hmm.
Grant Dawson by a finish at negative 140. So I put those two
Oh, wow.
together. Yeah, I did it kind of early. The price isn't that anymore, but I don't see how either of these two guys or girl loses. So
Well, those
yeah,
prices are only going to get worse come Saturday. Like those are going to get juiced even worse. Like I bet you
yeah,
Felicia Spencer and Dawson are going to be even steeper favorites come Saturday. So if people want to bet it now. Get the in the distance lines now before it gets even steeper.
yeah. Or I might play some type of variance of Felicia Spencer by submission. I'm sure that's going to be in the negative zone as well. Probably negative like 175, I'm guessing. And also Grant Dawson by submission is probably going to be also pretty expensive. Probably negative 175 itself. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah, whatever. So both of them are probably going to finish under 1.5. So maybe that might be something to look at as well. All right.
Uh,
So the main event, we have a really, really good one. This is a title fight of the vacant flyweight title fight. The title that was vacated by Henry Cejudo, who split decision Mighty Mouse to win the second to become the second only flyweight champion. And now we have the third flyweight champion is going to be up for grabs. We have Joseph Benavidez, who is negative 145. The comeback on Davison Figueiredo is plus 125. Um, just from a fan's perspective, this is going to be a really, really fun fight because both these guys really bring it. Neither of them have been in any boring fights, except the ones where Figueiredo got his leg humped by what's his face, Jared Brooks, right? And even then, that's like the Figueiredo should have probably should have lost that fight. But anyways, I'm gonna lean on Joseph Benavidez here. I kind of like him in this fight. Benavidez, I mean, what do I need to say about him? Like, if you're a hardcore fan, you probably know how he fights already. But I'm gonna go through that breakdown anyways. But he's a southpaw. He switches stances. As of recently, he has been switching stances lately, and I've never thought that Benavidez, his striking is really not like I feel like there's a lot of holes in the way he fights, and you know, Mighty Mouse exploded that, and where he fainted, got him to react and hit him with that hook. Um, but yeah, I mean Benavidez, he's hittable. His chin is there for the taking, but he's such a great like he gives you so many different looks, and he's very awkward in the way he throws punches, but he's got a lot of power. He can hit you at several different angles. He hits you with the left body kick, the right body kick from both stances. Up until recently, I saw him land a lot of really good calf kicks against Formiga, and even at the age of 35, he's still adding on to his game. So big fan of his. He's got great guillotines. He's a team alpha male guy. If you're a team alpha male guy, you probably have good guillotines or good guillotine defense. His offensive wrestling is not. I mean, you don't really see it that often. I think he's got some wrestling in his repertoire, obviously, but I haven't really seen him go for too many offensive wrestling. But he's a great scrambler. This guy is probably one of the best scramblers in MMA. Um, and then you got Figueiredo, who is a bruiser. This guy's got fucking power in both of his hands. He's got his hands low. He baits you in to punch him. He's been taken down before, however, and laid and preyed on, as he's shown against Jed Brooks and Formiga. Both of those guys laid and preyed him and beat him there. But I don't think that's Benavidez' style anyway, so that's probably not going to happen. But yeah,
Yeah,
Figueiredo, this guy's got a ton of power. Like, what are your thoughts?
yeah, it's such a close fight. Like it's okay. My pick is Figueredo, but I can't like advocate a bet necessarily. But I like him to win. Like I think he's got a little less mileage, and it's kind of more based on hunger. Like I just feel like it's his time. Like Benavidez has been around a long time already, whereas I feel like Figueredo is like rising star kind of guy. He's super explosive. He's dangerous. Like I don't know. I'm just leaning him, but it's not enough to say like I want to bet him. But I'll just watch this as a fan, and I'll be cheering for Figueredo because I just think he's going to win.
Yeah, I could see this line tightening up. Closer to fight day, I'm thinking it's going to be like negative 125 Benavidez. I don't think this negative 145 will last. So if you're planning on betting this fight, I would maybe wait a little bit. Just because I mean, unless you're taking Figueredo, I think plus 125 is pretty generous. So I do expect this line to tighten up just because I do think it's a very competitive fight. However, I'm still going to go with Benavidez just because I like his varied style. He's got a lot of different looks here. And I mean, Figueredo, like, I mean, if you want to do MMA math here, like his last loss was to GCA Formiga, and Benavidez wasted this dude twice. He's finished him twice.
Yeah, that's
And then he
true.
got in his most recent win to get him this title shot. He fought Tim Elliott and guillotine choked him, and Benavidez beat that guy like how many years ago?
Yeah,
Several years ago. Not only that, that's Tim Elliott trains under Joseph Benavidez. So like
yeah,
and then I guess Davison Figueiredo's best win to me is going to be Pantoja.
yeah. He's solid. Pantoja's a solid fighter.
Pantoja's a very good fighter, and that's kind of what gives me pause as well, just because of I mean he dominated Pantoja. That was right after his loss to Formiga, where he was getting taken down, and I guess he was getting really frustrated that he couldn't throw as hard as he wanted to, or like get guys to fight his fight because they're ankle diving. And after that fight, against Pantoja, he kind of had his hands low. He was baiting in. He was working a lot of head movement and getting Pantoja to get really aggressive with him and go first so that he can counter. And he was just hitting Pantoja pretty hard with a lot of counter shots. And Figueiredo, he kind of baits his lead leg out to get people to kind of want to go for a single leg, and he just kind of nips legs out. So yeah, he's an all around fighter. He's got some submissions on his record. He's got some great Muay Thai. He had that really nice elbow knockout against Marco Beltran. I don't know if you remember that fight where he threw that elbow and rocked that dude and just finished him
No,
from
I
there.
don't do that.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean punch or clean elbow. But yeah,
It just looking at his record, it says a corner stoppage. So yeah,
yeah. It was this is a really good fight, and I don't want to say Benavidez is over the hill yet. He seems like he's still in the game, and yeah, this is his last shot at glory. So, and they're only 3 years apart as well, so it's not too many. They're not too far away as far as age goes. But yeah, this is gonna be a really good fight, and I'm gonna be pretty excited to watch this one. And I think David, I hope both of them make weight. And well, I mean Benavidez has never had trouble making weight, but Figueiredo on the scale, this guy looks like Skeletor, man. Like he looks like he has some pretty damn tough weight cuts, but he always makes it. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean I remember in the past the dude was just like he had tears rolling down his eyes or something like that, just because he
yeah.
looked like he was fucking going through it with his weight cuts. And he's pretty buff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those fights where, like, even after the third round, we're not going to know who's winning. Like, it's just going to be a tight fight. Like, it's going to be a good, close fight. It's going to even be hard to live bet because it's just going to be tight, unless somebody pulls off like a big knockdown or a sub. But I don't think either of these guys will sub each other.
unless it gets late to the fight. I don't know. I think it's
Yeah,
possible. What the hell? Anyways, I do think an X factor here could be Joseph Benavidez. Like he could land a lot of some ankle those cap kicks. So that could actually
okay.
slow down Figueiredo. So that I think that might be an X factor here. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely be a good one to watch.
yeah. So yeah. What which fights are you most excited to see?
I'm really excited to see Tom Breeze. Like I said, he's my main bet on the card, and I'm just excited to see him fight again. Like I just want to see. I like him because I think he's really good. I just want to see like where he's at, how he. People talk about octagon jitters and all that. I want to see how he comes back to fight. I like Luis Pena. He's a fun fighter. Like he always brings it. He has that mean mug. Like before the fight starts, like you can just tell. Like this guy wants to fight. So him. Who else? Yeah, those two are the main ones. And who else? Yeah, the Dawson fight's just going to be fun, just because it's just going to be violence. Yeah,
Hmm.
probably those are probably the main ones.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see the Tom Breeze fight as well. I think Phillips and Gabriel Silva is going to be a good fight. I think Spencer and Dawson are probably going to finish, so that should be exciting. I'm obviously excited for Kutalaba and Kalayev, and I am also excited for the main event um, of this fight as well. So my picks are going to be Sergey Spivak at negative 120, Tom Breeze at negative 135. I'm going to take my chances on Kyler Phillips, Grant Dawson by finish, Felicia Spencer by finish, and I'm going to go ride with Joseph Benavidez. So those are my picks for this card. And yeah, that's it seems like a shorter card, huh?
Yeah, I don't. I
Yeah, there
agree.
wasn't
It
that many
doesn't seem
fights.
there's that many fights on here.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean after this card there's gonna be a couple more events. After that we have UFC 248 Adesanya Romero. After the week after that, it's gonna be Leo Oliveira, and then we just one, two, and then two more cards: Woodley Edwards and Ngannou versus Rosenstruck. So we have 4 weekends of UFC, and then there's gonna be a 1 week break, and then we'll continue on with a couple more cards right after that. So what a time to be alive to be having consecutive events like that.
Oh, I know, dude. I'm pumped for Nagano Rosenstruck.
Yeah,
Like that's gonna be a good fight, dude. And of course Izzy and Romero. Those
yeah,
two fights, sick, bro. Just on the edge of your
yeah.
seat.
Can't wait to break those down, and as the more events, the better it is for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So uh, yeah, I had fun breaking down this fight, and hope everybody enjoys the podcast. So don't forget to subscribe if you like what you hear. Um, and all right, man, we're out.
Peace, man.